Hi, show that 50 raised to the power of 3 over 4 times 5 over root 2 raised to the power of a negative half is equal to 10. Try and simplify this. That's my first attempt, is to write this as 50 a quarter. And further to that, we can simplify what's in the brackets here to write this as 25 times 2. Raise this to half, and then we have another half, which is the quarter, and then finally out here we have it cubed. Now we can simplify this in here to give us 5, because the square root of 25 is 5, and we have root 2. So we simplified these inner brackets, and so we have 5 root 2, and then we have 3 times a half. So this now is raised to 3 over 2. Now this, we want it to be a positive index, so we'll just write the inverse of this, which is root 2 over 5 raised to half. Root 2 over 5 raised to a half. That's equivalent. Now we can go ahead and multiply this numerator by this numerator. Remember, this numerator is root of 2, and we're taking the square root of that. And the denominator, well, let's actually write it so you can see where it goes. So we have 5 root 2 to the 3 over 2, and this is times root 2 raised to the half over 5 to the root 2. Now if we multiply here, if we break this down, this will be 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2. So we have 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2 times root 2 raised to the power of 3 over 2. And then here we have root 2 to the half. And in the denominator here we have root, or 5 raised to the power of a half. So we have a base here of root 2 and a base here of root 2. So we just have root 2 as our base. We add the indices. 3 over 2 add a half gives us 4 over 2, which is the same as 2. So we have root 2 squared. In fact, let me just write this first. We have 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2 first, and then we have root 2 squared over root 5. Further to this, root 2 squared is the same as 2, and we have this as 5 raised to the power half in the denominator becomes 5 raised to the power of a negative a half. So we have here 5 raised to 3 over 2. We bring this into the numerator as 5 to the minus a half. And then also we have root 2 squared, which is 2. Now we have a common base here of 5, and we add 3 over 2 to minus a half we have 5 raised to the power of 1, and we have 2, which gives our result of 10. So careful use of indices here. First, we simplified 50 raised to the power of 3 over 4 by looking at 50 and finding the square value here, which is 25. We can simplify this in here, the inner brackets, and then we just have 3 times a half. Again, we simplified here to give us root 2 raised to the power of half and 5 raised to the power of half in the denominator, or root of 5. Further to that, we simplified here again to have 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2 and root 2 raised to the power of 3 over 2, which combines with this base root 2 raised to the power of half, which you can simplify to root 2 squared, which is root 2 times root 2, which gives us 2. We take root 5, or 5 raised to the power of a half, into the numerator, and it becomes 5 to the minus a half, and that with 5 to the power of 3 over 2 gives us 5 raised to the power of 1, which is 5, and the 2 from root 2 squared, which gives us 2. So we've just shown that this is equal to 10. Thanks for watching. I'm Alistair.